Okay, today I'm going to show you how to replace a joker valve on a manual head in a boat. Joker valves look like this. There's slightly different designs. This is called a duckbill joker valve, and there are other types. There's like a tri-shaped one that has sort of like 3 openings. I happen to like this one because it works pretty well. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to replace this on your head. And so what this valve does is it's like a one-way valve. It lets effluent out of the head, out of the bowl, go up into the holding tank, but doesn't allow anything to come back down into the bowl. If you notice that water is coming back and filling back into the bowl, then it means likely that it's your joker valve that is messing with you. So let's get into it.
We are anchored in Castos.
Life 4.0 finds us taking an early retirement so we can travel and explore while we have the health and energy to do this in the way that we want. We spend about half of each year on our sailboat and the rest enjoying land-based living and exploration with a home based in the northeast of the United States. We hope you enjoy our Life 4.0 as you think about shaping your own.
Okay, so this is our manual Jabsco head. Some of the models, the previous models might look a little bit different to you, but it's the same basic thing with a handle and a pump and all that. And what happens here is that you'll notice after using the head, maybe a couple hours later, the water level will rise up in the bowl, maybe halfway, and then stop there. That is because the effluent that's going out through this big pipe here that goes up into our holding tank behind me over here, in this space, is not able to handle that pressure, that water, and it's coming back down through the mechanisms here and back into the bowl. It doesn't overflow because there's only so much water in that hose by the time it gets up to the level of the holding tank, so it's taking all that volume of water and coming down here and then stopping. So that's a basic issue. In the back of the manual pump here is where the housing is for the actual joker valve. So inside there is what we're going to pull out and replace. And again, yours may look a little different. This is a more recent version of the Jabsco pump. 2 bolts here, 1 on each side. Sometimes they might have 3. But the concept is the same. So we're going to remove these, replace the valve, and put it back in. Now I put a towel around here. You're going to get the volume of water that fills up this bowl. That amount of volume is going to come out when you open up this housing. So you got to be prepared for extra towels and things around. And I would suggest that you pump quite a bit through the hose so that you don't have any bad stuff in the hose. All you have is seawater in there, and then basically seawater is going to be coming back out to here. Okay, so I'm going to unscrew these bolts. You might take a note of how tight they are when you start this. They're not going to be extremely tight, and you can over torque these when you put this back on. So just be aware of that when you're putting it back on. But I'm unscrewing these, and again, water is going to be flowing out of here. And get these bolts out of the way. So you can see pretty wide thread on those. They don't take a lot of torque, as I mentioned, to come off. Now ours has enough play here, but you might need to kind of free up that outlet hose. So here is the old valve. So it doesn't look in that bad a condition, but we were getting the bowl filling back up. So this is the new one. Sometimes you'll notice a lot of crusting going on here and other stuff, and all it takes is like a little hair or anything that get caught in this thing, and it won't seal all the way, and then the water will slowly trickle back. I'm gonna show you inside here. Kind of gross, but you want to clean that all out because you want to have a clean sort of contact for the new valve to work in there. All right, so you want to have plenty of supply of extra rags, maybe some paper towels on hand to work in here. So I'm just going to clean out. There's a little bit of water still caught down in there. Clean that out. And you can get sort of crystalline stuff forming on here. That's basically the urine reacting with the salt water. and crystallizing. You definitely want to get all of that out of here as well if there's any in here. It's kind of a gross experience, but it's part of bone ownership, unfortunately. So I've got some kind of crusty stuff in here. Let's see if I can get some of that out. I've got a little kind of small chisel here. I'm going to try to see if I can work some of that stuff off of there. Let's see, some of it coming off now. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I'm trying to be careful not to scrape the closer part of the inner housing here. You want that to have a good seal with this part, but I am cleaning out the other stuff just in case it's blocking the operation of the valve. There's some loose stuff down the bottom there that should be flushed out the next time I pump out. Again, most of what I'm concentrating on is just the close in part of this, and making sure that especially this outer flange is all clean. I'm going to sort of wipe the inside of this part too, but making sure that flange makes a good seal around this so you don't have any leakage. I'm going to clean the housing as well. I can't really see it too well, but I'm just going to feel around here and wipe it down with a paper towel. Okay, good enough. We have our new duckbill joker valve, and some people believe it matters whether you go horizontal versus vertical. I'm not really sure it matters. It's just straight water pressure, so we're just going to put it in there like that. And we'll swing the housing over. You want to make sure it gets kind of seated in there. You'll know roughly the position because it'll line up with the holes here. So I'm going to hold it in position and tighten down on the screws again. And I can't overemphasize this. You do not want to over torque this. You'll find out the problem because it'll start to leak. If you've got a leak, torquing it really hard is not going to fix it. You've got to pull the valve back out, clean it up, find out what, maybe there's a slight edge to it that's not smooth or something. And this plastic housing really isn't that strong to be over torqued as well. So I'm going, I would say just firmness so that it can't vibrate loose, and maybe like 1/8 of a turn after that. Something like that. And I go back and forth and just to make sure that they're evenly snug in there. There we go. And that is that. Matter of cleaning up the job. Dry it off really well so that you can see any potential leaks. I'll dry it all the way around here. So that way you can come back after the first use and check and feel underneath here to see if there's any wetness at all. You don't want anything, obviously any wetness at all, because that shows an issue with either it not sealing right or it's over torqued or something like that. And that's the job. You're all done there. This is the joker valve that comes from Jabsco. You can see it's kind of a tri-fold thing. And I went online and a lot of people were complaining about the performance of these. The duckbill ones from Groco seem to work quite well. We've had good luck with them. These ones don't last quite as well, my opinion. And so there you are. I've replaced these probably once a season. They should last longer than that, but just they seem, especially sitting over the winter, they seem to get dried up, and in the springtime inevitably the bowl is filling up with water while it sits. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you saw that it wasn't too difficult. It's a little bit messy, obviously, dealing with anything with the head, but it's fairly straightforward, and it's a necessary thing to learn because inevitably you're going to have to do this. Even on a electric head, it's the same concept. The joker valves involved to hold the water back from coming down from the holding tank. So hopefully you enjoyed that and saw that it's not too difficult of a job to take on yourself. And as always, we look forward to your comments and suggestions. Have a great day out in the water.